Moving on, the low turnout of voters in the Lagos state local government and council elections now is a major topic across board. Earlier on, I spoke to an election observer and member West Africa Democracy Solidarity Network, Omori Aigbe, to get his thoughts on the conduct of the election and low voter turnout.
Yesterday was exactly 1 year following the Supreme Court judgment. And the Supreme Court judgment was largely on financial autonomy. And that the JAC, the Joint Allocation Committee, which is between the state and local authority, doesn't work well for a federated system like Nigeria. And the Supreme Court was very clear that the resource of local government belongs to local government and that it should not go to the state. And after that judgment by the Supreme Court, what did the federal government do? Set up a committee to review decision of the Supreme Court. And the committee, apparently, I don't know, let me not discredit what they've done, but before you know what was happening, there was a CBN a statement that all local authorities, the 774 local authority in the Federation, should come over and open an account with the central bank so that the direct funding can go. But why CBN was requesting for that opening of account, they requested from local government a financial audited statement for the last year. I mean, how do you expect local government to get that? But in any case, that's not the conversation. So there's a difference between the Supreme Court ruling and the local government election of Lagos State today. What you are seeing what you saw today, that literally people didn't show up, is as a result of the backsliding of the federated system of Nigeria, that the local government system is not truly local government as it were. Local government is supposed to be the third tier of the federation. So there's a federal government, there's a state, and there's a local government. But in this case, the local government is subservient within the state architecture, whereas the federal government does not control the state in a way that a state controls local government. So as it were today, people just assume that it's a ceremonial to gather or to appoint, to run an election. But they know that the will of the people is already one-way dimensional. So it's obvious that Lagos today, the CF will announce APC chair and councillors all through. They know. People know. It's not just in Lagos. It's in Osun. It's in Anambra. It's anywhere local government elections are held in this country. The state party, the party in which the governor belongs, usually sweep across. And it's not even in FCT. In FCT election of 2022, the same thing happened. Even though that was conducted by INEC, people in FCT, particularly in AMA, did not even know election was going on. People were moving as it were. They didn't know that there was going to be an election. In any case, look at Lagos. Was there even campaign? How much campaign goes into the process that led to today? How many campaigns?
Right. So we'd also want you to speak to the late arrival of LASIAC officials at various polling units, which was also a general problem. And despite reassurances by the electoral body that all was set for the conduct of the election, voting began behind scheduled time. And now, why is this always the case in every election?
So, man, with all due respect to SIEC, I won't compare SIEC and INEC, but you would have expected that SIEC would have done better in Lagos. But again, SIEC depend largely on INEC to conduct elections. So, for instance, the registered voters belong to INEC. The polling unit that has demarcated already belongs to INEC. So, SIEC does not have its own register of voters of Lagos State. SIEC does not have does not operate differently from the polling unit, which are already been delineated. So at the end of the day, we are going to see the usual challenge. So when we blame INEC for logistical deployment, at this time we have to rethink that even Lagos alone, Lagos, one state, still deploy materials late. It therefore means that logistics, as it were, is a phenomenon that is associated with Nigerian elections. And we must stop blaming INEC for late deployment. However, I don't know the strategy that SIEC deployed by way of ensuring that there's a super rec Super RAC, Super RAC, that's Registration Area Council, where INEC used to deploy closer to the polling unit ahead of the election. Even with that, those super RAC still end up delaying deployment of polling material to polling stations. So what has happened in Lagos is likely the same challenge, which also impact on INEC. Maybe we will hear from CX later why they deploy late. But importantly, it is those who have been commissioned to move material from one place to material and personnel material from one location to another. Apparently, they may have slowed down and they may not have honored the contract. But with all due respect, it's a phenomenon in Nigeria election.